Bavin. BBC Radio Suffolk.
Somehow this programme always goes back to the topic of food for some reason, and when it comes to healthy eating, of which I'm doing an awful lot of at the moment, we tend to focus, don't we, on what's on the plate, what we're sticking on our fork or on our spoon. But should we also think about when we eat it? Now, eating a bigger breakfast could help to absorb more nutrients, while eating your last meal of the day could help maintain a healthy weight. So when exactly should we tuck in? Or should we focus on perhaps closing the eating window? It's interesting. Let's chat to Natasha Hodge, a nutritional advisor from Natasha is Wide-Eyed. Natasha, hello again.
How you doing, Wayne?
I'm all right, thank you very much. This is a topic that we have debate about in the Bavin household an awful lot.
Right.
If I have something to eat after 8 o'clock, she'll say to me, wait, it's too late to eat. Shouldn't eat that late because it sits heavy on your stomach through the night. Do you have certain meal times, or do you eat when you're hungry, Natasha?
I have it's a huge part of my client help when we eat, and we tend to eat later in the day. So this study is very, very interesting to me, them talking about eating earlier in the day, and I'm sure it's absolutely to do with the timing of insulin in our bodies.
I would say it's different for everyone, though, because we all have different life patterns, different working patterns, don't we?
We do, but we all beat to the same circadian rhythm. So whether our lifestyle doesn't fit in with that, our bodies don't know that. So actually, your pancreas, which is the bit that produces insulin and helps you regulate your blood sugar, goes to sleep about 7 o'clock in the evening. So your wife was quite right when she said about eating later. It's actually not going to get digested in the way you want it to.
Right, so that will be sat literally in your stomach all night, just rattling around there before it gets digested.
Well, it will be digested because your stomach will be working, but your pancreas won't be regulating your blood sugar as well. And when we're talking about different times of day to eat, we've also got to look, this study was looking at various different times of the day to eat and when was optimum, but it wasn't looking at what those people were eating. So if you were eating high sugar foods, for example, then actually during the day is a better time to metabolize them. You're more insulin sensitive because you're moving more during the day, as long as you've not got a sedentary lifestyle.
And how about the notion, and everyone says this, don't they? Have a big breakfast. Whatever else you eat in the day, make sure you have a big, hearty breakfast because it'll keep you going through the day.
Yeah, I'm the opposite to that. I disagree with that, and it's because when you go to sleep, you are recharging. So you wouldn't. You charge up your mobile phone, and once it's at 100%, you don't plug it back in straight away. And that's what we do. We go to sleep, we recharge, our bodies have a rush of glucose and cortisol when we wake up, and we don't need to eat straight away. We're full of energy, and the best time to eat is when you start to get hungry, not through habit, but when you've actually used a fair bit of energy in the morning. So I say to my clients, about 11 a.m. is a great time because you're in fat-burning mode, you've fasted overnight, and now you're ready to eat at 11. And it's just breaking that habit first thing.
So in your experience then, if there was an eating window to be created, what time would that open and what time would that close?
The best time I've seen, certainly, and I've read a lot of research on it, is between 11 and 7. So you finish your last meal of the day by 7 o'clock in the evening, so your pancreas then does its job and goes to sleep, and you're able to process all the food overnight. Also, that first bit in the morning when you're awake, a couple of hours before 11 o'clock, you're fat burning as well. So you're even more, your head is working well, you're clearer thinking. So, yeah, between 11 and 7 is your optimum time.
Interesting. How can we kind of start finding out what works best for us, though? How can you monitor this?
Well, I mean, the best way to do it is to push your breakfast further and further back and see if you have more energy. A lot of, that's basically the amazing thing about fasting and just having a smaller eating window, you tend to get more energy and you tend to be less hungry, actually. So instead of it, it's sort of counterintuitive. You think, oh my goodness, I'm going to be super hungry because I'm condensing my meal times. But actually your body becomes more efficient and so you're not as hungry.
It's really interesting, isn't it? There's so much to this. And, when you think about what you've said, it kind of makes sense to me because whenever, for example, I've had to get up really early, whether I've had to catch a plane whilst going on holiday or get up really early for work, and I've had, this is pre-diet, and I've had a big cooked breakfast, and I thought, oh, this will do me to lunchtime. It actually doesn't, because I think the human body feels hungry. It's every 2 to 3 hours or something.
Well, as I say, it does depend on the person. It does depend on what you're doing. If you're using a lot of energy, some people do all types of different fasting. I, for example, some days don't eat until 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 7. So I'll only have a 4-hour eating window. Depends, if you've got a lot of energy on board, it's really personal. But if you've had a high carbohydrate meal first thing, then you will definitely be hungry by mid-morning because you'll have had a crash. You'll have had a sugar crash, and your insulin will be, pumping out and all that sort of thing. So it does depend on the person. But as you say, usually we're full of energy. And if you'd left it till a little bit later and had a nice high-protein meal at about 11 o'clock, then that would see you through a larger part of the day.
Interesting stuff. You can find out a lot more information. NatashaIsWideEyed.com is your website. Natasha Hodge, as always, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, take care. Natasha is